confessional singer-songwriter thing. It's really tired.
Okay. You've released a couple of records at the moment now. Do you often look back to the starting days of your career?
Do I?
Yeah, do you? Yeah.
I thought these were the starting days of my career.
Yeah, maybe before you really started releasing.
Before I started releasing albums. Yeah, sure. I mean, it was you know, it was really fun. It's sort of like the way that you think about backpacking across Europe or something. I was living out of my car, and you know, I'd spend 3 months on the road. I'd bring camping equipment and fishing equipment with me and camp out at state parks and then go do gigs, and it was stay on people's couches, you know. It was really fun. It was great.
Why did you decide then to live that kind of life?
Why?
Yeah, traveling, selling some records, and not having maybe a decent income. Why did you choose that kind of life?
Well, shit, why not?
I don't know.
You know, it's to the people who it suits, it kind of pulls like a drug. Like people who need to be road dogs, either, you know, develop some sort of musical talent or become roadies or something. It's sort of in the, it's a little bit in the blood. You know, you got to have a certain amount of wanderlust. Now, I read On the Road when I was a kid, like every other kid did, and I was obsessed with that book. I started touring, I think, just to kind of try to recapture some of that for myself and see if, you know, I wanted to feel that deeply. I wanted to travel like that with my eyes wide open and take it all in and experience it all and all that stuff, you know.
Do you think you succeeded in that?
I did. I have a great life. I'm lucky as shit. I'm like the luckiest person alive. I feel so lucky. Like, I'm allowed to play music every night, and I'm allowed to write. I'm allowed to take a little time off now and then, you know, in my little cabin and look out the window and do nothing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And, you know, I spent most of my adult life without health insurance, and you know, there's stuff you got to be willing to give up some comfort, some degree of comfort and stability. But you know, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
We're sitting here in Amsterdam right now.
Yeah.
In a couple of ways, you have some kind of relationship with Amsterdam, the Netherlands maybe also as well. You worked with Room 11. After the recordings of their record, did you met them later on?
No, I haven't seen them since we finished, actually.
Okay.
Actually, never mind. I should really kind of give one of them a shout.
Yeah.
Sort of hold up.
Amsterdam.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, when I come back, I'm here for a few days, so I'll see him then.
Yeah, and there's also a live CD, right? Yeah,
DVD, yeah.
DVD, yeah, recorded in the Parody. So, in what way is Amsterdam also special for you, except maybe those two?
Oh, it's a special town. It's a magical city. There's I mean, you're probably over it. You live here and stuff. I'm a little over New York sometimes too, but that's also a magical city. It's got a beautiful energy to it, and every time I'm here, I'm quite happy to be here. I rent a bicycle and I just scoot around town, and everybody you're full of the most beautiful people on earth. Like, people, Dutch people, you're gorgeous. You're like crazy beautiful, and you're just like, you step off the airplane and all of a sudden it's like magical, happy, beautiful place where everybody's smiling and, you know, and riding their bikes with their business suits and a cigarette dangling out of their mouth and a bottle of wine in the basket for the wife and some flowers, and you're just like, damn, this is a cool town.
I've never seen that myself.
You got to hang out with me, because apparently I get to see all the magical shit. You just have to see her, you know, the drudgery. For a tourist, it's badass. Actually, for, I think, a resident. I mean, as somebody who's fighting for just the teeniest bit of healthcare in my country, I'm all for European-style democratic socialism.
Yeah, it's something probably they ask you a lot about it, but in Europe you are much more popular than in your own country, in America. Why do you think it's like that?
I have no idea. I'm not complaining about it though. It's pretty cool, either way. And it's actually, in some ways, it's kind of nice because, you know, it's like I come over here, I get treated really well, and I play for big crowds, and it makes me feel really good, and makes me feel validated, and and earns me a living, and I go home and I'm nobody. It's like I do a little tour, 40 fans will show up or whatever. It's
How's it like to play here for maybe 1,000 people and then you go back and there are only 40 people?
Oh man, the first time I played Paradiso, it sold out because there was like a lot of fuss over that first record. And it was a sellout crowd, and it was the first time in my life ever I was treated like a rock star, ever, in my entire life. And I was just like so high from the experience, but I came home, I had to rush home for another tour I'd booked, and I played to 6 people in Chicago, 4 of whom were on my guest list. Nobody came out to the show. And I was just like sitting there going like, just in case the universe thought I was gonna get conceited, they had to just slap me down and say, oh no, you're nothing, don't worry about it. I wasn't allowed to float on that feeling for very long or get too full of myself.
Okay, thank you for your time.
No problem.